Hey guys, today we're making quiche. Typically made of mostly eggs, we're veganizing the savory pie with the help of chickpea flour. This recipe was made especially for Cherie Stokes, who won the secret word game last month and requested a quiche recipe for her prize. I hope you like it, Cherie. As always, the ingredients and recipe are in the description below. Start by making your pie crust. When measuring flour by volume, make sure to fluff the flour first with a fork, otherwise you're going to end up with too much flour. Then scoop and level it off with something flat. That should give you about 125 grams per cup. I'm using a kitchen scale to be more accurate and measuring a total of 190 grams, which is about a cup and a half of whole wheat flour. If you just have regular all-purpose flour, that'll work too. Add some salt and sugar for flavor and mix that all together. Then I'm going to chill the bowl along with my pastry cutter in the freezer for about 10 minutes. You'll also need a half cup of vegan butter or shortening for this recipe, so go ahead and chill that too. When everything is nice and cold, cut the vegan butter into the flour. If you don't have a pastry cutter like this, you can use 2 knives held together. Keep cutting until the largest chunks of fat are about the size of a pea. You may have to stop and scrape down the cutter, but don't use your hands. We don't want to melt the fat. These chunks will help create layers in the crust during baking. When the mixture looks all crumbly like this, you can start adding ice water, just a tablespoon at a time. Mix in the first tablespoon and then the other. We want to add just barely enough for a dough to form. It's going to look pretty dry, but that's okay. Now you can reach in and give the mixture a squeeze or two. If the dough holds together, that's enough water. The air is really dry here today, so I used about 4 tablespoons in total. In the summer, when it's more humid, I only use about 3 tablespoons, so this amount may vary depending on where you are in the world. You can use your hands to form the dough, but try not to handle it too much, otherwise the fat will melt. When it kind of barely holds together, turn it out onto a clean working surface to gather everything into a dough ball. Again, it will be on the dry side and maybe a bit crumbly. Wrap this in some plastic wrap and let it rest in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. In the meantime, we can saute some veggies for the quiche filling. I have some mushroom, red bell pepper, shallot, and garlic here. I have a bit of water in my pan over high heat to get things started, and when it's bubbly hot, add in the veggies. Sprinkle a little sea salt, and that's going to help draw the moisture out of the mushrooms, shallots, and peppers. It's a little bit hot, so I'm going to turn down the heat to medium. Now you can use any mixture of veggies that you like, such as spinach or broccoli, and you can even add some chopped vegan sausage or smoked tofu for flavor. You do want to saute them as well to draw out any excess moisture, otherwise you're going to end up with a soggy quiche. This is a bit counterintuitive, but I'm adding a little splash of water to get some of the sticky stuff up from the bottom of the pan to finish. And then I'm going to season with a big pinch of poultry seasoning. It's an herb blend of thyme, rosemary, sage, and some other stuff. No actual poultry, of course. Then take that off the heat and let it cool. After your dough has rested, have your pie tin handy and flour your work surface generously. Flatten it out a bit first, then start rolling it out to a disc shape. It looks like a bit of a disaster, but that's okay, at least for me. I admit, I'm kind of the worst pie maker in the world, but I promise that even though it looks kind of terrible, it'll still taste good. I'm just sort of measuring out the width of the crust, then taking the edge bits and filling in any gaps. Keep rolling out until you have the right size for your pie pan. If you used enough flour, it should be fairly easy to transfer the dough onto your pie pan. If you have weird gaps and holes like I do, that's okay. Just take some of the bits from the edges and fill her in. It's fine, or at least that's what I tell myself. Then you can finish off the edges with a fork and flute it with your fingers. I tried my best. It looks kind of craptastic, but from far away it's not bad. Just don't look too closely. So cover it again with plastic wrap. I just reused the same piece from before and refrigerate. Or actually put in the sauteed veggies if they have cooled to room temperature and cover it up and then chill that in the fridge while we make the rest of the filling. Now would also be a good time to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 Celsius. Here I have a cup of chickpea flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and we're going to mix this with a cup of room temperature water. Chickpea flour is pretty clumpy, so don't do the fluffing thing to measure it like we did with the wheat flour. Just pack it in when you're measuring. When this is super smooth, we can go over to the stove. Heat 2 cups of water over high heat and add 1 bouillon cube. Or just use 2 straight cups of vegetable broth, whatever kind you like. I'm using a vegan chicken style one. When it gets to a rolling boil, give your chickpea mixture a quick mix, then pour it in slowly while stirring. If this looks familiar, it's because it's basically how we make Burmese tofu, a soy-free tofu that's a traditional food from Burma. Turn the heat down to low and keep whisking for about 5 minutes. This will get a little tough to do after a minute as it thickens. We'd really want to cook this through though, because chickpea flour is bitter if you don't cook it all the way, and then it's disgusting. But if you cook it all the way, it's pretty delicious. If you're not sure if it's cooked through or not, just take a bit on a spoon, let it cool, and then taste it. If it's bitter, cook it for a bit longer. If it's not bitter, then we're good. Now you can grab your pie crust out of the fridge and pour in the chickpea mixture. It will be really thick and it might fight you on the way out. Just smooth it out the best you can. To make this a little bit prettier, I've sliced up some cherry tomatoes to go on top, but that's completely optional. Then into the preheated oven it goes for 25 to 30 minutes. The crust should be nicely browned, but not too brown, and the middle will still be a little jiggly, so don't worry about that. To make this more eggy tasting, you can sprinkle on a little black salt. It's often sold in Indian grocery stores as kala namak and has a sulfury eggy aroma, but be careful, a little goes a long way. Decorate with some basil chiffonade and sliced scallion, cause that looks nice, and it adds a little freshness. And there you go, savory, delicious vegan quiche for whenever. I won't tell you when to eat your quiche as long as you don't tell me when to eat mine. This pie is best served after it's cooled down. In fact, I find it best if I chill it in the refrigerator so it sets completely, then serve it cold or heat it up in the microwave to serve it hot. It's up to you. There are no rules. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe for more easy vegan recipes every Friday. Bye for now.